Spreadsheets are a common and versatile tool used to present information. You may be familiar with budgeting or project management spreadsheets, but there are many different ways to use them. You might use a spreadsheet to organize information, such as travel expenses or a shopping list. Create a tracker to manage the people and tasks for a project. Or keep a log of grades or assignments in school or sales and invoices in a small business. It's possible to use a pen and paper to record similar information, but with a digital spreadsheet, you can easily keep track of a lot of information, analyze, filter, and sort the data, and make difficult calculations quickly. When compiling data for a spreadsheet, you may add the information yourself, take it from an existing document, or use another source. Or you can download data from a computer application or website directly into a spreadsheet. Many programs will do this for you automatically. Creating a spreadsheet from an app helps you compile large amounts of data, ensure accuracy, and frequently update the spreadsheet when more data is available. In this lesson, you will use a spreadsheet of data from fundraiser sales. At this community fundraiser, people bought t-shirts and volunteers kept track of how many shirts were purchased and what styles and designs they chose. Similar survey data might be collected with the form in other scenarios, such as responses to a customer satisfaction questionnaire or feedback on a new business practice. In this example, the responses were downloaded into a spreadsheet so the data could be viewed in detail and more easily compared. To complete this lesson, you will use the data from the fundraiser sales in a spreadsheet. You will make a copy of the spreadsheet with the data, update headers so they are more meaningful, add borders between sections, and resize columns to make the information easier to read. Then, you will organize your spreadsheet by adding limits to what values can be entered in each cell and sorting the data. Customizing your sheet by formatting, editing, and organizing makes it more visually appealing and easier for a team of collaborators to use. While you might not use sales data in your work, the skills in this lesson will prepare you to manage complex spreadsheets for many future tasks. This lesson uses Google Sheets, but you can apply these concepts in any spreadsheet application. To work on this lesson, sign into your Google account. Open a new tab in your browser and navigate to google.com. If you are not signed in, do so now. If you do not have a Google account, pause the video and create one. To begin, open the starter project and make a copy of the spreadsheet. Remove the words "copy of" and add your name to the title. Now, it's your turn. Sign into your Google account, make a copy of the starter project, and update the title. In the previous video, you learned why spreadsheets are a useful tool for organizing data. You also learned that the data shown in a spreadsheet can come from many different places. Sometimes, even if you're starting with formally collected data, you may need to make changes to it later. In the case of the t-shirt fundraiser survey responses, you might make additional sales after the spreadsheet is downloaded, for example, or you may need to make updates to particular orders. Once your spreadsheet contains all the information that is most relevant to you, it will be easier to analyze, interpret, and use. In this video, you will edit the data in your spreadsheet to make it more meaningful to you and easier to organize. To start, return to your spreadsheet. Then make a duplicate of it. For the rest of this lesson, you'll be changing the formatting and organization of the sheet, including the colors and styles. But you might need to view the original data again later. To leave the original spreadsheet intact, it's useful to be able to duplicate the sheet. Then, rename it. Use a descriptive title. When a spreadsheet is composed of many sheets, a descriptive title on each tab helps you find the right information quickly. Next, assign the tab a color. You might want to use a different color for every sheet, or you may want to use one color for several sheets with the same type of information, such as monthly sales totals. Spreadsheets are made up of rows, columns, and cells. The information you are collecting is in the cells. Each cell is labeled with the corresponding letter and number of the row and column. In the new sheet, insert a row of information for an imaginary t-shirt order between two existing rows. Add data to complete the order. Choose any of the values from the rows above, such as the date, design, or type, or choose another value that fits the category, such as a size that's not listed. In this example, the data in the spreadsheet is about t-shirt sales, including who sold the shirts, how many were sold, and the styles chosen. Copy data from the first column. And paste it into your new row. Repeat the steps until you have filled out the entire row. The number you choose for the amount of shirts should correspond with the number of columns you complete. For example, if you type 2 in the amount column, you should fill out date for shirts 1 and 2 only. You might also want to insert a column if you had a new set of data to add. Or delete a column if it's not relevant to you. Or you may want to keep the row or column in your sheet but clear the values. If you make a mistake, undo it. Now it's your turn. Duplicate the sheet in a new tab, rename it and choose a color, insert a row between two existing rows, copy, paste, and type data into a new row, and insert a column, then delete it. In the previous video, you created a duplicate copy of a sheet with data from a completed survey. The data is organized with default headers and formatting. It's not necessarily easy to read, analyze, or see patterns in data that's organized this way. To make a spreadsheet easier to read, sort, and understand, you might need to change its headers and its format. To improve your spreadsheet, change the column headers so they're easier for you to understand. Rename the columns. Then insert 2 rows above the header row to create categories for your headings. Categories help simplify your sheet headers and make the t-shirt orders easier to read and understand quickly. Label each category. These labels will be used to help you clearly see which types, sizes, and designs correspond to which t-shirt. Update the rest of the headers for the first product. Then copy the new headers and paste them in the rest of the cells. Next, make your headers bold so they stand out. Then, merge the cells in the row with your categories. When you merge, you remove the dividing lines between cells. Center align the text. and adjust the number formatting in the date column to simplify your spreadsheet. Now, it's your turn. Insert new rows for category headers, update the headers and make them bold, merge cells, and adjust the date format. In the previous video, you began changing the format of your spreadsheet so it will be better organized, more visually appealing, and easier for you to use and share. In this video, you will continue making formatting and organizational changes. To begin, assign each sales transaction an identification or ID number. This helps you organize the purchases. Two people placing an order might have the same name, or two transactions could be so similar that it's difficult to tell them apart. Sale ID numbers separate each order clearly. To do this, insert a new column to the left of your first column. Freeze your column. Freezing rows and columns keeps them from moving when you scroll through your sheet, making it easier to line up your data with the correct heading as you scroll. Now, label the first row for a header. Then, make the first purchase number 1. You could type the number for each sale ID by hand, but this will take a long time and may not be possible for spreadsheets with hundreds or thousands of data entries. Instead, drag the handle to populate each cell with the numbers. Oops! Instead of filling in the numbers sequentially, the last number was copied to each row. To automatically fill in sequential numbers, select each of the cells you typed the sale ID into. In this case, it's 1, 2, and 3. And drag the handle. Nice work! Selecting several numbers in the sheet demonstrated the pattern you want to follow. Next, divide your spreadsheet into a grid so that it's easier to tell which information belongs to which products. To do this, add borders between columns. Choose a border style. And add borders around your headers. To make the headers more eye-catching, add fill colors. Next, change the borders in the first row so the cells are clear. Merge the cells to create another header. Type a title for your sheet. Add formatting. And change the font style if you like. To make your spreadsheet a more manageable size, adjust the column widths. Select all the columns in your sheet. And resize them to fit the data. Then delete the columns you're not using. Limiting the number of columns reduces the need to scroll through your sheet. Now it's your turn. Insert a column, freeze the column, number the rows by dragging to populate the cells, add borders, resize the columns to fit the data, and delete columns you're not using. In the previous video, you added formatting and organized your spreadsheet so it's easier to read. In this video, you will add data validation to control the type of information in particular cells or columns to make your spreadsheet even more effective. Data validation is a method of limiting the entries or responses that can be used in your spreadsheet. Earlier in this lesson, you added a new row of data by typing in your spreadsheet, but this can lead to errors. For example, your fundraiser may only sell certain sizes of shirts. A drop-down menu made with data validation lists the sizes to choose from when placing a new order based on what is included in your sheet. This makes your choices clear and prevents mistakes, such as typing a size into the spreadsheet that isn't offered. Data validation is especially useful for collaborators who may not be as familiar as you are with the options of shirt design, for example. Plus, it keeps the formatting consistent. To start, highlight the amount column and open data validation. This column shows the number of shirts purchased in each order. You wouldn't want someone to accidentally enter a word instead of a number, especially if you're planning on sorting your data by the number of shirts purchased, for example. Add data validation that limits the inputs to a number within a range. However, you probably don't need data validation in your title or header rows, or your header may be flagged as an invalid input. Remove the data validation from cells that don't need it. Next, define the inputs of the other columns with a limited set of options with drop-down menus. Type the sizes that appear in your sheet. Or copy and paste the options from the cells. Add data validation to the rest of the columns. Finally, resize any columns that don't fit the new data. Now, it's your turn. Add data validation for a range of numbers in the amount column, add data validation for a list of items for the rest of the columns, remove data validation for any header rows, and resize columns if necessary. In this video, you will sort the data in your spreadsheet to better understand the data. With sorting, you can take data from a specific range, such as a column, and put it in numerical or alphabetical order. You could sort a spreadsheet of project tasks by each person on the team so they can see what tasks they need to complete. Or you might sort a spreadsheet of product sales by the customer's names to address a problem with a specific order. To begin, sort your entire sheet by organizing specific data in one column. Select the column that you want to use to organize your data. Then sort it. Choose to sort your column in descending order. Or ascending order. Or sort by a range. Select an entire column, then sort it. Sorting by a range only shifts the selected data and leaves the rest of the sheet intact. In this example, column C was rearranged while no other data shifted. But be careful when sorting by a range, as you might lose valuable information or disassociate the data. For instance here, you wouldn't want to reassign a salesperson to a sale they didn't make. Undo your sorting. To sort your data back to its original version, use the sale ID number you created earlier in this lesson. Because each sale was assigned a number, you can sort the data in numerical order at any time. Nice job! With sorting, you can adjust the way the information in your sheet is organized without changing the data itself. This is a crucial first step in analyzing your data. For example, you might want to sort your data by salesperson to see who is in charge of which sales, or by method of payment to find out which type is most convenient for future customers. Now it's your turn. Sort your entire sheet by one column, sort your sheet by a range, undo the sorting, and sort by sale ID. In this lesson, you made a copy of a spreadsheet that was automatically generated from sales data. Although it was accurate, it wasn't very well organized, easy to read, or visually appealing. Formatting, color coding, and organizing your spreadsheet makes it easier for you and the people you share it with to find and analyze data quickly. To make it more engaging, you duplicated the original sheet and assigned it a tab color. added rows and columns, types data into cells, added and edited headers, added data validation to certain cells, and sorted your data by a specific column. The skills you learned in this lesson are useful for other types of spreadsheets as well. For instance, you might use cell merging to clearly delineate headers and subheaders in a personal budget, borders to divide sections of a spreadsheet covering months of the year in a job application tracker, data validation to assign a team member to a task in a project tracker, or sorting to arrange a list of volunteers in alphabetical order. Keep creating new spreadsheets to master the skills you learned in this lesson.